They play Friday in a matchup people have been waiting for all season. And while it's usually Notre Dame riding a long winning streak and Steinert struggling to maintain a winning season, the tables have clearly turned here in 2011. One thing they both have in common, though, putting up dazzling numbers this past weekend on offense. I'm Mark Fontes with sports. In the 2000s, Steinert football was 0-10 against Notre Dame. Then came last year's Halloween weekend spooktacular with the Irish. They were both riddled with injuries, but late in the fourth quarter last year, the Spartans special teams broke up a two-point conversion attempt and upset Notre Dame 15-13. This year, the 5-1 Spartans visit Notre Dame looking to push their winning streak to 6, a streak that started with Rancocas Valley, who recently beat the Irish at their homecoming. It really is anyone's contest, but both teams got good practice with, shall we say, strong offensive performances just days ago.
The Hightstown Ram faithful pinking out Friday night just a week after their football boys earned their first W at Ewing. Taking on Notre Dame at home, Irish quarterback Sam McDermott coughs up the ball heading into the end zone, but the official signal touchdown. He poked it in there just before letting go, so the Irish up 7-0 early. Later, McDermott, out of a shotgun, drops back to pass, goes to the air, long in fact for Kevin McCarthy. Touchdown Notre Dame! McDermott to McCarthy, and their team's called the Irish. How about that? Their lead 14 points after that play. On the ensuing kickoff, high end over ender, Kevin Lennart of the Rams back deep for it. He grabs it, runs straight up the middle at first, then winds off to his left, slips a tackle, gets past numerous white shirts, still on his feet, past the 50-yard line into Notre Dame territory. He's finally brought down by Jeremy Keegan, but a 59-yard kickoff return by Lennart. It was all for naught, though. The Ram offense could not seem to make things work for themselves on that drive anyway. They'd turn it over on downs, but then Hightstown's D forced a 3-and-out when the Ram O got the ball back. Quarterback Dustin Coleman goes to the end zone for Darian Millard, and Millard's got it for the touchdown. Coleman hooking up with Millard for a 26-yard strike. That got the Rams on the board in the second period and cut the lead in half. Coleman later would connect with wideouts like Max Cutler on a number of big yardage plays, but the Rams not able to score again in the first half. Still 14-7, we move to the third quarter. Notre Dame back with the ball. McDermott back to throw it. Finds Devin Griffiths over the middle. Griffiths runs left and finds a ton of room. 30, 20. He gets inside the 15, wrestled down at about the 12. Millard and Lawrence Mendes on the stop for the Rams. That led to this second and goal. McDermott faking the handoff to Nico Sfera, takes it in himself. Touchdown Irish. A banner night for the boys in light blue, coming off that loss to Rancocas Valley, who held Notre Dame to only 15 points. On this night, the Irish put nearly double that number on the board. They beat Hightstown 27-7. The next day at Steinert, the class of 2012 saving the best for last. They mean themselves, of course. And how about Kate Becker, Adam Reese, and the rest of the 2011 Steinert homecoming court in their usual special halftime gala? The court, who welcomed back last year's king and queen, Garrett Braddock and Samantha Brescia. B.J. Capili in that royal purple shirt named this year's king, the drum major fitted with the royal crown by Braddock, and Katie Gaffney in bright red announced as this year's queen. Brescia with a bouquet and the tiara for Gaffney. And that Sparta is your 2011 homecoming court. Catch up with these seniors and the other several hundred of them at their graduation in June. To the game we go. Reese, though he did not win, certainly knows how to win a football game. Handing it off here to Jeff Mattinelli, number 20. Look at the open hole. Mattinelli runs through to the end zone. Touchdown Steinert. The Spartans get on the board first, taking on the West Windsor Plainsboro Northern Knights, by the way. Mattinelli, the junior, may just get on next year's homecoming court based solely on the way he played, having a Bo Jackson caliber day. A 39-yard run here for both his second touchdown and the team's. Steinert ahead 14-0 early in the first quarter still, and it wasn't quite all offense either. North quarterback Josh Bloom back to pass, picked off by defensive end A.J. Mastrangeli. He loses his footing, but nearly took that in for a touchdown. A.J. still all fired up about it. The drive that followed did not produce a touchdown, but Steinert's D forced a night 3-and-out. They get the ball back. Reese hands it off. Guess who? Mattinelli's offensive line opening up all kinds of holes all day for him. Here he cuts outside and scores his third touchdown. Steinert turning this into a drubbing. This is all again in quarter number one. Early in the second period, Knights avoid the shutout here. This field goal right down the middle. So the North fans with something to cheer about. 21-3 now. But any momentum they would build from that little bit of offense did not last. The ensuing kickoff, Keon White back to get it for the Spartans, drops it at first, but that gave his blockers time to get set for this kickoff return. White not touched by anyone, and he could go all the Wait! Touchdown, Keon White. Steinert with a special teams touchdown. Plenty of Martinelli offense and almost a defensive one, rocking and rolling. Reese, shotgun. If it's not broke, don't fix it. He tosses it to Martinelli this time, who runs to the outside, slipping all kinds of tackles, still on his feet. He'll be brought down there by Baffy Owo, but a 36-yard gain. Mrs. Mattis, your principal, enjoying herself like everyone else dressed in green. Zando gets drilled on the next carry, but recovered in the end zone by the Spartans. Touchdown again. That was Tyler Zandomenigo, by the way. 35-3. Steinert's defense. How often does a middle linebacker blitz? Well, Ryan Malagrino records his first career sack right there. Number 56 making like Ray Lewis on a blitz. After a night punt, Reese and company with the ball back. He drops back to pass for once in the game, going long to the end zone. Jordan done, touchdown. The Spartan pep squad, who was doing push-ups corresponding with how many points were on the board, turned it into jumping jacks once the offensive total was over 40. Steinert wins its 5th straight big over North.
And finally, Team of the Day is brought to you by Prior NAMI Business Systems. With fast, dependable on-site service, we change the way small business does business. Prior NAMI. Hightstown Rams boys soccer, who we showed you last week beating Nottingham to wrap up their regular season, advanced to the MCT semifinal round yesterday, pulling off the biggest upset so far of the tourney. A 2-1 overtime win over second-seeded Trenton Catholic Academy. The Iron Mites, who had only lost one game prior to that, drop a heartbreaker and find themselves out of the county tournament that they were playing in for the first time. Hightstown, meanwhile, will face Pennington's boys, who just eked out an overtime penalty kick thriller over Nottingham. Well, that's all for sports on this Tuesday. Stay tuned now for Mercer County Close-Up.